Hello, my name is Veronica, and welcome to the Learning Lab, episode number 76. A not so quick, but simple layout. It all started with this Martha Stewart heart scroll punch. I used that, the Sweethearts cart, using my Gypsy for that, some vintage photo distress ink, the Crafters Workshop template, this little key that I picked up from Michael's, some ribbon, other paper and accessories, and made a layout. Come on in and let me share with you exactly what I did. So I started with this punch, and it does have the fold out wings, and as you can see, it's a beautiful design. When I first got it and used it, I wasn't that crazy about it, but I was determined to love it. So I started playing around with it with some I think this is Kane Company paper that I had, and I wanted to make this into an around the page stamp. So this was an early try. I did it on paperweight cardstock, and then I did it on card weight cardstock, and this is what I got. And as you can see, it's absolutely beautiful. This one didn't turn out perfectly. As you can see in some of the corners, it was off a little bit, but it gave me my starting point of where I could get going in order to make this work. And I think this is just stunning. I'll turn it over to the white side just so you can see the contrast, and it's lovely. So, okay, enough of that, on to what I did with mine. This is one of the sides of the page that I used, and with a lot of mathematical wrangling, I was able to work out how to get my border to be an around the page punch. But on this bottom sheet, which is just a piece of, I think, We Are Memory Keepers cardstock, I wanted this yellow soft background. I used this key from the dollar bin at Michael's, and you do get what you pay for because of the way this is mounted. It doesn't even stamp accurately, but I figured out a way to make it work. So the background under this is all in the keys, just around the border. Then I took my Sakura Stardust clear pen and blinged out all the keys. It may not shine as much on camera, but it's really blinged out. Then after punching this, I took the Crafters Workshop template and played around with several different things. I tried some Glimmer Mist, was not enamored how that turned out. Then I tried to do some Versamark with some embossing on there, and let me tell you, this shows up much better on camera than it does in person. It's minuscule. And here's where I used it with the Vintage Photo ink, and here's where I spritzed with some Glimmer Mist to kind of get an outline. And down here, this is where I had this key punched out, the negative space that was left, and I tried to Glimmer Mist inside of it, and it turned out okay. But I want to show you a little bit using this Crafters Workshop template. If you've never used them before, they're awesome. You just put them on your page where you want them to go. Lots of different techniques you can use, but I'm just going to use some of the vintage photo distress ink, and using my semi-homemade ink applicator, I'm just going to go straight to the template and using a circular rubbing motion, just going to rub it. Now, if you're doing a larger area or using one of the 12 by 12 templates, I would recommend some temporary tape, low tack tape or glue to hold it into place, and something that you can peel off later. But I think I've just about collected every single 6 by 6 template that they put out, or at least all the ones that appealed to me. So once you rub that in, lift it off, you've got some nice texture going on top of your background. So I did that for my two companion pieces. Okay, so what you're looking at now are the words that are on my page. You hold the key to my heart, and this is from the Gypsy Wanderings font. I made my own shadow because I weld these together, and then I just put them on some shiny American Crafts black cardstock and just hand cut all of those out. But for these lovely keys, some of them I Glimmer Misted. And for the lock, let me show you where that's found on the Sweetheart cart. So I use the Sweetheart cart, and the lock and the key are located under the same icon. If you're counting 10, 20, 30, 40, or number 4 down on the last row, that happens to be your lock. And to get to the key, just hit Shift, and the key is under the same one. So we'll put that on the page and then size it up so that you can see it. Let's make it 6. And now there's the lock and the key that I used. So for my mats, I just maximize my paper to the best of my ability, and I cut 2 of them at, it looks like 4 by 6, and then these 4 little ones and the smaller ones are cut at 3 1/4 by 4. And that left me with barely any wasted leftover paper. So here's how it's starting to come together. On one of the sides is where I decided to put my title, which, if I didn't mention, I cut using the Gypsy font, and you can turn this to go whichever way you want. But it says "You hold the," and then down here is where I can put a couple of these, and I think they're going to go this direction, and then my larger photo will go there. Now this ribbon that I pulled out, I'll probably take it and tie a bow in it. Take that, put it on the bottom of this one, and then just wrap it around to the back, and that will contain a photo. Additionally, I cut out some extra keys, and so some of these keys can go along here. I pulled out some of my journaling spots because not all of these will be photos. So in case I want to make one into a journaling spot, I can take this one, stamp it there, and that's where I can do my writing. So I just went into my little container that said journaling spots and frames, pull them out, and I'll use one of these to stamp on here in order to do my journaling. Okay, so on to the other side. The companion page will have the key to my heart. And over here, my pictures are going to go the opposite way. This will be my large one, and this will be my 2 smaller ones. And again, I will use some of my extra keys that I cut out to decorate the page. Now I am going to use the lock to hang off of, I'm going to use the lock to hang off of the key to my heart and let it have its own little key there. Thought that was kind of cute. And on this one, I just may tie a ribbon also, just so it mimics what's on the page across. And I pulled out this. It's a nice organza piece underneath and a satin piece on top. And I'll just layer that, then take it and wrap it around the very end of the photo. Take some of the other color and make a little bow, and that's what will be on that side of the page. Now additionally, okay, you all know me, once I get started sometimes I get totally carried away. But I went in and found some of this chipboard I had from K & Company and thought that the tones of it would go well on here. I like the swirls because they kind of mimic this. So that's something that I could put in between these two. I could use this beautiful one to go on the corner if I chose. There are brackets, and I love the fact that it says us and love. So I can use that to continue to fully embellish my 2 pages. So making a little bit of room. So here's what the final design would look like with the ribbon tied around the picture. Once I get everything anchored down, again, I'll use some as journaling spots and some as photos. I love it because they're all interchangeable. If I wanted this page to mimic that one, I can just simply turn it, and now they're oriented in a totally different way. But this will be a picture of my son and me because he does hold the key to my heart. So if you do have this deep edge Martha Stewart punch, pull it out. I've now turned my deep edge punches into a punch around the page punch. I love it. Oh my goodness. Isn't that spectacular? Please remember to visit my blog at inkallusions.blogspot.com, where you'll find a lot more information and inspiration. Until then.